Hi, we're going to be talking to you today about plastic pollution and its effect on the marine environment. We're going to be looking at the different sizes of plastics and their distribution around the globe,
with a focus on microplastics and their bioaccumulation and what that means for us.
We'll be going out into the field to see what we can find across the Essex coastline and looking at solutions to the plastic problem. This map shows the plastic waste that is available to enter the ocean and the regions in the world where plastic mismanagement is greatest. The darker the shade, the higher the plastic pollution. For example, if we look at East Asia, over 5 million metric tonnes of plastic were generated in 2010. Due to mismanagement, these plastics were available to enter the ocean and be carried off by the ocean's currents.
This map shows the main ocean currents and the marine plastic concentration in those currents. The darker the shading, the higher the concentration of plastic. Following the North Pacific Current, we can see that the high-producing plastic regions like East Asia are in the direct path of the major currents that contribute to the distribution and buildup of plastics, like in this shaded area. There are three main types of plastic. The first is microplastic, which can be divided into two groups. Primary, which is under 1mm and is very difficult to be seen, and secondary, which is between 1mm and 5mm, like this piece of plastic. The second type of plastic is macroplastic, which is between 5mm and 10cm. These are usually fragments off of larger pieces of plastic or just small plastic objects such as bottle tops. The last type of plastic is large plastic, which is large bottles, large carrier bags or other large objects that haven't been broken down yet. These types of sizes all have different effects on the environment.
I've come down here to Tesco's to see what microplastics we can find. So I've been scouring Tesco's and I've been looking at all these different face products here. Now, after going through all of them, only a few actually contain microplastics. The predominant brand is Clean and Clear. Now come to the clothing section to see what we can find. Now this fabric, the fleecy fabric, and the same with the dressing gown, is made of polar fleece. With every wash, about 2,000 microplastic fibres enter our water systems. So after coming down here and expecting to find loads of products with microplastics, it turns out there's not really many at all. We discovered this article in The Independent from November 2016. It states that by the end of 2016, Tesco's were planning on phasing out all microbeads in its cosmetic and cleaning products and were assessing what other branded products they were selling, encouraging manufacturers to make clearer labels on their products containing microplastics. Tesco's have said that they have been listening to customer feedback and concerns, and that is what has encouraged them to make changes. However, in September 2016, a law was passed by the UK government banning the sale of microplastics in the UK by the end of 2017. This law requires all cosmetic and cleaning product companies to phase out their use of microplastics.
Thousands of these microplastics enter the water every day. They are then consumed by microorganisms such as zooplankton, which mistake it for their normal prey. This plastic either clogs the digestive system of the zooplankton, or the toxin from the plastics are released as the plastics begin to degrade inside the organism. The zooplankton are consumed by their predator, and the plastic and its toxins continue up the food chain. As the trophic levels increase, the toxins from the plastic will accumulate in the predatory organism's cells. So the further you go up the food chain, the more plastic toxins there will be. This is known as bioaccumulation.
We've come to Brightlingsea Beach to see what plastics we can find. It doesn't look like there's a huge amount of plastic here, but when we take a closer look, you can see that there's all kinds of bits of plastic that are hidden within the seaweed. So we've got lollipop sticks or cotton buds, and then we've got larger pieces of plastic that have been broken up to more macro sizes. Macroplastics are the most common size class of plastics found on the beach. When large plastics enter the ocean, the power of the currents and UV radiation breaks down the pieces into smaller sizes. Seabirds are particularly in danger from plastic debris. With limiting resources in certain regions due to overfishing and climate change, it has widely been thought that birds mistake plastic for their normal prey. However, a recent study by scientists at the University of California discovered that degrading plastic also gives off the smell of DMS, which is used as a cue for seabirds to forage. This olfactory cue tricks the birds into confusing marine plastics with food.
Ingestion of plastics is a big issue, but entrapment and entanglement in large plastics is also a problem. In plastic bags, marine organisms can get entangled before they degrade. Bottles can also cause problems for smaller marine species, as well as degrade into smaller pieces which can affect larger marine species. Fishing gear, such as nets, lines and rope, can entangle marine species. All of this fishing gear is just some stuff that we found on Clacton Beach in a 10-minute period. Plastic bags such as these can easily be mistaken for jellyfish in the ocean by marine life such as sea turtles. When plastic bags get ripped up, they end up looking like this. In the water, they start looking like this. And as you can see, it's easily mistaken for a jellyfish. Now we are here at Clacton Beach, we're going to look around to see if we can find some bigger plastics. As there's more people living here, there could be a larger plastic pollution.
Just found all this fishing line tangled up within the seaweed. It's easy to see how fishing line and synthetic fibres get tangled up within animals.
We spent 10 minutes collecting plastic at both Clacton and Brightlingsea. This is how much plastic we collected. It comes to a total of 617 grams.
This image shows the time it takes for different items to degrade. Once in the oceans, plastics can take hundreds of years to degrade. Some of the common items we found on the beach, such as plastic bottles and fishing line, can take 450 to 600 years to break down. This means that unless the plastic is removed, it will either accumulate on the beach or go back into the ocean. If it stays on the beach, not only is it not aesthetically pleasing, but it could be a health hazard to the nearby area. The plastic going back into the ocean is also a huge problem, as it will accumulate in certain areas due to currents and gyres, leading to areas of high plastic pollution. An example of this is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is estimated to be 700,000 kilometres squared. And with the total area of plastic pollution in the Pacific Ocean being 50 million kilometres squared, which is equivalent to 8% of the Pacific Ocean total area.
In this recent news article from the beginning of February 2017, a Cuvier beak whale washed up on the coast of Norway. The whale was discovered to have more than 30 plastic bags as well as other plastic waste filling its stomach, including some packaging with English labels. The whale had to be euthanised as it could not survive. The amount of plastic inside the whale meant that it could not ingest any food, causing it to digest its own blubber and become extremely malnourished.
The Ocean Cleanup Project was proposed in 2013. The design is a passive system that relies on wind, current and waves to push floating plastic into screens. The plan is that one of these systems will be placed in each of the 5 main ocean gyres. Currents can pass underneath the plastic screens, which will prevent bycatch. The V-shape of the screens will then concentrate the plastic pieces at the centre of the structure, where they can then be harvested, sorted and processed in a collection platform. The idea is still in the prototype phase, with different tests being conducted. However, it has faced some criticism for its feasibility and environmental impacts. Vegware is completely compostable food packaging made from plant fibres and can be found in some of the food outlets on campus. It is a great alternative to plastic and can be recycled along with food waste. More and more companies are developing environmental packaging and looking for a way to beat the plastic packaging problem.
From this short investigation into plastic pollution, we see that positive changes are being made. The phasing out of microplastic products in big supermarket chains is a major step forward in limiting further plastic pollution.
Less plastics are being seen on local beaches, which suggests a better beach clean awareness by local populations. However, regardless of the amount of plastic entering the ocean, there is still a huge amount already there. Through campaigns and the passing of legislation, awareness has been brought to this global problem, and hopefully through further campaigning, public interest will continue to tackle this huge issue.
5 fast ways you can minimise your plastic footprint. Avoid products with microbeads before the product ban goes into effect. Look for these key ingredients. Carry and use reusable shopping bags. Steer clear from single-use products like plastic bottles and plastic cutlery. Avoid products that come in plastic packaging. Refrain from buying clothing products made with synthetic fibres.
For more information about this plastic problem and how it can affect humans, please visit A Plastic Ocean and watch their documentary.